What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Let's jump straight into it. This little clip you're about to see, this is Pam Bondi, the United States Attorney General. She is the head of the Department of Justice. She is the overtop of all of the federal agencies in Washington, D.C. right now.
Performed a traffic stop. All these guys got out, bailed out of the car, took off, caught the majority of them. 3 guns under the seats in the car. 1 was an assault rifle. That's the kind of crime that was happening right around the corner from us in our nation's capital. Larry, not only that, Donald Trump's going to make it beautiful again.
Another thing that I want to make mention of, I'm a Washingtonian. I love D.C. It's D.C. or not with me, right? Now, they have this term, I'm going to call it a slogan, make Washington, D.C. beautiful again. Now, there's parts of Washington, D.C. to me that have always been beautiful, but there's parts of Washington, D.C. that have been through the struggle, that have been run down. I would like to know in specificity, what era and time are they talking about making Washington, D.C. beautiful again? Because if it's really not a utopia or just an idea, if it was really a time that we could use a measuring stick of when it was beautiful, then you would have to go back to who was the mayor, who was the president. But at what point in time, this is a question, you can leave it in the comments, for Washingtonians, people that visited here, people who moved here from other places, what would be the time, coming from a position of MAGA, what would be a time where Washington, D.C. was beautiful? Before the riots of the 60s, before the assassination of Martin Luther King? Someone tell me, what is your idea of what would be Washington, D.C. being beautiful again? I took a walk down 8th Street Northeast, Washington, D.C. Historic part of town. Straight to the point, a lot of people keep saying that this federal presence has made the city safe and people can go outside. Now, I walked the whole 8th Street. Before this federal takeover, okay, there were always multiple police cars. I even believe at the end of this clip I'm about to show you, you're going to see a DC police car. Although I mentioned that the feds roll by, you don't really catch the feds if you're not paying attention. They're in a white car, an unmarked vehicle, and a black vehicle before it. But when the camera pans around, you may see the DC police car. I'm not even calling those feds. Those are local police. But my point is this. It's always police cars strategically, DC police cars placed on 8th Street corners, all right? My point for showing this clip is that there are no feds outside on 8th Street nowhere. There's no drug activity out there nowhere, and the feds are not keeping the streets safe at that point in time. Now, a person may say, oh, well, the streets are a ghost town because the feds are not out there. However, excuse me, the streets are a ghost town because the feds are out there. But however, as I walk the streets, you see me walking the streets by myself. I'm using this to prove my point that, one, the feds are not all over the place. They're not falling out of the ceiling like roaches. Number 2, DC is not no Afghanistan. You're not going to hear joints going off all night and all this. It may be in pockets. This is an urban city. And the third thing that I wanted to point out is the fact that they say, not they say, I hate when people say they say. Some of these people that's on some of these podcasts, to call them out specifically, Anton Daniels, this other particular guy by the name of Grown Man Business. Those are 2 that recently just said some things like DC is a shithole, DC is a hellhole. It's been like this forever. I grew up in the 90s. I don't know how old either of those gentlemen are, but you would have to lived here in the 90s to fully understand the gravity of even small bits of change. But check out me walking down 8th Street Northeast right here. Once again, they got them tow trucks out though. That's that city money right there. But it's 8th Street. I'm on 10th and H right now. I'm walking up on 8th and H. 8th and H is a part of 8th Street corridor that there was and has been drug activity, to say the least. But I'm telling you, Where is the National Guard? Where's all the crime? This don't seem peaceful to you? Where's all the crime? That's the feds right there. They was in front of the building the other day. I'll take you through another part of Northeast right here. People call this joint Popsicle Park, but normally this area right here is covered with all type of people, you know. So the feds and DC police, Metropolitan Police, had a checkpoint set up down the street. I don't know why or if that's why this area is empty, but you know, this area right here, now we've left the 8th Street part of the city right there in Northeast, which really is almost the same street. For those who don't know, if you're going east, 8th Street turns into Bennett Road, but when you really hit Bennett Road, you're getting further into Northeast. You know, shout out to the Pinnacle, shout out to 21st, shout out to Trinidad, but this is more of the hood right here, as you're going to see. But this was from earlier in the day when I was just getting content to show people what's really happening on the ground in DC. So the video you saw just a prior minute ago, that was in the evening after I spent time on, you know, 8th Street and Bennett Road watching what the police was doing. But this is how I was really running up on the scene where I saw the feds pulling people over in Northeast DC, Bennett Road. Know your rights. I got them boys out here. They got them boys out here. They got them motherfucking boys out here. They got that motherfucking checkpoint. Y'all better be careful on Bennett Road, bro. They got them boys out here. Heavy police activity out this bitch. They got that checkpoint out this bitch. And they got the tow truck. They gonna take your shit. They gonna take your shit, bro. They got the tow truck out this bitch. They gonna take your shit, bro. Damn. They out this bitch here. Damn. I'm out here on Bennett Road, Northeast. They out this joint doing checkpoints.
But yeah, so just over here on 8th Street,
Well, the
they
other ones were definitely.
arrested some guy. One of them had ice on his back. The rest are completely unmarked. They're all in unmarked vehicles.
Why are your faces
They arrested him, they
Why
took
are
his
you
scooter
from
and
New
left.
York?
And then I walked back over to the bus stop and watched them, the same cars, pull over this
What
guy.
agency are you
on
with?
104. I guess,
No,
I don't
you
know.
don't have to follow these orders.
East clear. They got the, come here. They got the feds outside, the real feds. Look what they in, unmarked junk. That's a Jeep Cherokee. All clear. What's up, good people? Now, I'm a firm believer in actions speak louder than words, right? I'm also a firm believer in that age-old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. So, I've been covering what's going on in DC for a few days, right? And I came across some ideas and some opinions that some people shared that I didn't share. And for one, this guy Anton Daniels, he said he represent, Detroit. My Detroit people say he don't represent that, right? But this 8th Street, Northeast DC, this a corridor. It ain't no police on every corner. It ain't no National Guard on every corner. And this one of them communities right here that's, I'ma say it's a mixed community. You got people around here that got a nice amount of money. You got low income around here. This is the neighborhood that I'm walking through right here that most people know of, Rayful Edmonds neighborhood. Back in the day, we used to call this shit Capitol Hill, but they didn't change the name of some of those things. But if you look, this real DC down here, this the real DC. Oh, this right here, real DC too. But I'm talking about those houses down there, whatever they may cause. They've been here since I was a kid. My family, my father, I ain't gonna say my family, because my family really from uptown, but my father's father family came to DC by way of Northeast. You know what I'm saying? And all that bullshit they talking about the police doing, some talking about ain't no smoking. There's plenty smoking, ain't it? It's plenty smoking, bruh. Nigga gonna keep smoking. I don't know what they talking about with that shit. Police over here. But yeah, this 8th Street right here. I don't know what the police doing over there. But we ain't encounter no FBI, all that crime everywhere. And I decided not to drive, I'm walking. It's my city, right? I can walk as I want to walk. I might even walk out through the alleys, bruh. It's 8th and H, notorious 8th and H, bruh. Ain't nothing happening out here. The notorious 8th and H. Ain't nothing happening out here, bruh. This shit regular. This shit all the way regular. 8th and H Northeast. I'm out here walking. I'm walking the river. Now, I ain't saying that they not out here. I just know that Anton Daniels and most of these people that's trying to ride the algorithm of the Trump takeover is out of control, they would never walk up and down the street like this. They would never freely walk 8th Street like this. Now, and I came out here, now it's daytime, but it's 5 o'clock. I'm about to go to this bookstore. Look at this old school bed. I'm about to go to this bookstore down the street on 8th Street. Just, I'm an author. I want to check out the books and shit. But I ain't encountered nothing. Y'all walking with me. Now, this H and Chicken right here, this motherfucker stay, excuse my language, this H and Chicken right here, this don't stay open at 4 in the morning, all right? Just check it out. I don't want to talk y'all to death, I'm showing y'all. It's regular business in DC. This is 8th Street Northeast, man. This is a main corridor on the northeast side of town. Nike shop right here. Business as usual. Ain't nobody on nothing. Business as usual at the Nike shop. Where are the police at? Business as usual. CVS open. People out here minding their business. But I'm gonna do a video on some stuff I was reading today in the Baltimore Sun. The Baltimore Sun, I'm not even gonna act like I discovered this information, but as a journalist, I read all type of stuff. And the Baltimore Sun just did a story, an article about 2 days ago discussing discussing the $1 billion in tax funding that the District of Columbia was denied by the Trump administration that could have been used for public safety. So they're gonna withhold $1 billion. I mean, $1 billion. I mean, with a B, like big boy. They're gonna withhold $1 billion in funding that could be used for public safety. And the city will be forced to cut public safety. And then you trigger these emergency powers. Remember, it's controlled. You trigger the emergency powers. As I said, this 8th Street. Ain't nothing on, I'm from DC, I'm born and raised here, bro. My people been here 2-3 generations. I ain't just come here, I ain't no gentrified. I was here when this joint was gapped, when the murder rate was almost 500 a year. Yeah. So I'm gonna go check these solid book joints out. See what they got in here.